a correlation. There's a greater amount of fans. I think that was the case in Oakland and generally Los Angeles, although in LA, because of the rivalry, the majority gets a little hostile and perhaps overpowers the minority. But in a place like this, the good size Celtic group really makes itself felt and heard.
Coming into this ball game, the Spurs record 31-35. They are fifth in the Midwest Division, 10 games behind the Houston Rockets. They are one game ahead of Sacramento. San Antonio is seventh. Sacramento is eighth in the battle for the 8 playoff spots in the Western Conference. There's the hand for Larry Bird. It almost sounds like we're at the Garden. But they're only 4 games ahead of Phoenix for that final playoff spot. In the last 10 games, the Spurs are 1-9 and 0-1 against the Celtics, 120-110. The Celtics winning earlier this season, actually just a few weeks ago toward the tail end of February at the Garden. But this is a team, San Antonio, who because of their injuries with Gilmore and Johnson both out now. Gilmore is out with a strained hamstring. Steve Johnson has bone spurs in his ankle. He may or may not be able to see some action tonight, but he is not starting. Well, this is a team that could lose that playoff spot.
I think, without question, Phoenix seems to be playing a little bit better.
Yeah, they've won 2 in a row on the road.
2 in a row on the road. So if they've got a little momentum going, this team, it seems to me, is almost thrown in the towel now. And it's not enough to talk about injuries. Granted, their center and their power forward is out. This is significant. But every team during the course of the season, has its share of injuries. So I think it's something you have to live with and overcome as best you can. This team's strength all year long seems to have been at shooting. They're shooting over 50%, or just about at 50%. The backboard, at least when Gilmore and Johnson are in the lineup, they're very competitive. They're just about even with the opponents. So I have to feel that defense is their problem. It's always been their problem here, going back to the Gervin days. They like to run and gun and shoot with you, but they didn't like to make that defensive commitment. I don't know that it's changed any since then. Gilmore is not the intimidating factor in the middle that he should be. They call him the gentle giant, and that's pretty much, what he's played like throughout his career. There are officials, by the way.
Jess Kersey on your left and Bernie Fryer on your right are 2 officials tonight.
And as we found out over the years, I don't care how well you put it in a hole on this level, you simply have to put the defensive effort. You've got to have the speed and quickness that is able to, with the spurts when you need it, put the pressure on and if not stop the opponent, at least seriously hold them in.
There's our starting lineups. David G, by the way, is David Greenwood. He's normally a forward at 6'9". So they're going to try to match up Greenwood with Parrish in low, and it's really no contest there. The other starting forwards, Jeff Wilkins is a big guy, 6'10", 250. Mike Mitchell's only at 6'7", so the Celtics have a height advantage all along the front line with 7-foot Robert Parrish, 6'10", Kevin McHale, and 6'9", Larry Bird. The guard's Alvin Robertson is a true all-star. He's a 53% shooter from the floor, averaging 18 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists. He steals the ball almost 4 times a game, 242 steals coming into it. So he is their superstar player, and he's only in his 2nd year from Arkansas. Celtics control the opening tip.
He's 2nd in scoring on his team, but the impressive stat is he is 2nd in rebounding as well. So this kid really does it all. He steals the ball, as you said, and of course he leads the team in assists.
Haynes knocks down the first one for the Celtics, and then to a 2-0 lead. Casey's got them playing a little defense, picking up in the backcourt.
Picking up early.
That's one of those motivational things we were talking about.
Good place to try to up-tempo it is on defense, rather than saying, hey, let's run him out of this place. He's saying, pick him up full court and dig in.
There's Robertson missing the shot and the foul called on Robert Parrish.
Wes Matthews. Penetration by Matthews. What they do have, perhaps, in this kid here, Matthews and Robertson, is perhaps the quickest, fastest guard duo in the league.
Wes is from Bridgeport, Connecticut. Played on the Harding High School team down there that won a state championship, or was won quite a few. All right, it's tied at 2-2. We have played less than a minute here at the Hemisphere in San Antonio. Larry Bird as Mike Mitchell is going to be the man assigned to try to guard him. Now, Parrish has Wilkins on him. Wilkins is 6'10". They go to McHale. Easy 2 over Greenwood. The Celtics front line could almost score at will in this one when you look at the way they're matched up.
It's layup time. We may get our shooting average up to 70% in this game alone.
Moving inside, Wilkins knocks it down, and we're tied at 4. Jeff Wilkins. They just got him in a trade just at the trading deadline from Utah for Ibaroni and another player. Bank shot by McHale won't go, but he is fouled by David Greenwood of San Antonio. There's Greenwood, who came over from the Chicago Bulls last year. It is the first team foul on the Spurs, and of course the first on Greenwood. And Kevin McHale's at the line.
Not a bad player, Greenwood. He probably would be more effective coming in off the bench. I don't think he can handle a starting responsibility. He's not a bad shooter from outside, but he's 6'10". He's built like an atlas, and yet he doesn't do the work under the boards that you would expect from a man this size. So he prefers to get his offense outside. And that's tough when he's your starting power forward, or in this case, starting center. Very passive.
Mike Mitchell, he can score, and he can light up a lot of points. Dennis Johnson back for the Celtics. We're tied at 6. We have played a minute and a half. At San Antonio, DJ's pull-up is short. Bird gets the offensive bound, but he went out of bounds with it. And so it'll be a Spurs ball with Greenwood on the inbounds to Wes Matthews. Wilkins is 42. This is Alvin Robertson, number 21. Out of that great mold of Arkansas guard, Sidney Moncrief. Robertson just in his second year. Bird is yet to score in the game. Larry is averaging 40 points a game on this Texas trip. DJ, baseline, no. Weak side rebound to Wilkins. San Antonio with a chance to take the lead. Matthews kicking it off to Mitchell. Bird the rebound. Larry had 50 against Dallas and 31 against Houston. Bird trying to work on Mitchell for 2. Doesn't get it, but Larry will be at the line. A foul on Mike Mitchell is his first personal foul and the second team foul on the Spurs.
Yeah, there's Bird doing a little one-on-one trick here. Just taking it to Mitchell. Actually, not a bad defensive job that time on Mitchell. He's had the assignment of guarding Bird in the past and hasn't had much luck. Bird has really handled him pretty easily.
One more free throw for Larry, who missed 5 foul shots the other night and has dropped to 89%. Larry gets them both, and the Celtics lead tied the game rather at 8-8 with 9:40 to play in the first quarter. We'll be on the air tomorrow night from Atlanta against the red-hot Hawks, who've won 7 straight. Battle for the rebound. It'll be Boston ball out of bounds off the Spurs. The Hawks tomorrow night should be extremely tough in Atlanta. The game has been sold out for a month. Bird winds up three-pointer. Yes, Larry Bird had 2 3-point hoops the other night. No, had 3 of them, didn't he? He had 3 the other night in that 50-point game, and then 2 against Houston. Offensive rebound to Greenwood, can't put it down, and Bird comes away with another rebound. Celtics leading 11-8 on Bird's last 3-pointer, so he tries another one. Of course, why not?
That wakes up the crowd a little bit, and obviously, especially the people with the Celtic jackets on.
That's about half of the joint.
Bird loves this, you know. Half the people gave him a standing O in introduction, and he responds to things like that. In a game like this, he can take some chances that he might normally not take.
Greenwood answers the 2 Bird 3-pointers with a 2-point hoop, and it's 14-10. Celtics on top. 8 minutes and 40 seconds left here in the first quarter. Bird backdoor. Johnson and Larry Bird have that down to a science. Dennis just waits, arches his eyebrows, and whips a fastball in there. Timeout is taken, a 20-second timeout. 20-second timeout.
Little change of direction by Bird. They set a pickup that time on the strong side. He exchanged the ball with DJ just as if he was walking off the pick. And as he gets just clear of the pick, that's when he turns it on and goes to the basket quickly. The 2 3-pointers obviously had set that move up because now Greenwood was right there in tight. And it made the pick more effective for Bird. And then, as I say, when he turned on the gas, when he got over the high pick, he still had 15 feet to go to the basket, and they had cleared the middle out for him. So all that was necessary was a heck of a good pass from DJ. But as we've said so often, one play sets up the next one for Bird. He had hit a couple outside, and that set up the move to the basket without the ball.
Sometimes it's like the rest of the players on the floor, or at least the opponent's players are playing the game in a 5-second delay to what Bird is thinking of. Bird launches one up court to Kevin McHale, who can't hang on at the other end, and it's out of bounds. That's that shooter release. As Mitchell took the shot, McHale broke up court. Bird overshot the mark. So it's 16-12 with 8.5 left in the first half. First quarter, rather. Wes Matthews, now David Greenwood. No, Parrish clears it. The Spurs just don't have an awful lot of rebounding power in there, too. We were talking about the Celtics being able to go low offensively. Another one. Another Bird backdoor layup.
Well, as we told you, Mitchell has not had a lot of success guarding Bird. I love the way Robert cradles that rebound when he's in traffic. You ever notice?
It's like it's an egg.
Yeah, like if it's, you know, like he's protecting a 3-month-old baby. He just kind of hugs it to himself and protects it from all those hands and arms that it's trying to get to it.
Johnson on the miss. Wilkins rebounding it off to Wes Matthews. With that great burst of speed, he lays it in.
That's a nice move by Wes Matthews there. Caught Danny sleeping with that little change of pace move.
McHale with it low on Greenwood. They double him up. Kevin gets it, tries to get it to Bird, who, according to Jess Kersey, was out of bounds, but he was out of bounds because Greenwood had elbowed him out of bounds, and Larry's not too thrilled.
Not only that, but he didn't touch the ball, I don't think. I thought the ball went off of Mitchell.
Mitchell outside. No whistle and a foul on Kevin McHale of the Celtics, and it'll be 2 shots at the foul line for David Greenwood. Bird so far is the Celtics leading scorer with 12 points out of the Celtics' first 18. Mitchell with a pair of free throws. There you see his field goal percentage. His foul shooting percentage is a pretty good 81.5%.
Leading the team, averaging 22. He's an accomplished tailor, this kid.
Really?
He burns the pants off you for 35, and then he gives you a fitting.
A new pair.
A new pair. Fits you up for new ones after the game.
Mitchell knocks his 2 free throws down, and the Celtics lead is cut to 2 at 18-16 with 7 minutes and 10 seconds left in the first quarter. Tomorrow night's game, by the way, 7:30, Celtics and Hawks. Bird takes the 3-pointer, gets it to McHale. Basket won't go. We'll have Kevin at the line. This program is authorized under telecasting rights granted by the Boston Celtics solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions, pictures, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Boston Celtics and WLVI-TV is prohibited. McHale with 2 free throws, missing the front end. 18-16, Celtics are leading. One more free one for Kevin, who's at 21.5 points a game, averaging 8.5 rebounds.
Oh,
If he blocks a shot tonight, he'll be up to 100 in the season.
Bird reacts so well to the situation. Every move he makes is designed to set something else up. He faked the guy in the corner, had him running at him to get a better shot. As he got it in there, he spotted McHale.
There's the 100th block shot, and Danny gets bopped right in the nose by Mike Mitchell.
Yep.
And there's a timeout taken by the San Antonio Spurs. So McHale blocks his 100th shot, and the Celtics will have the ball when we come back. Right now with 6:52 to go. First quarter, it's the Celtics by 3, 19-16. Shot, it'll be his 100th block of the season, and he blocks a shot.
After the game, I'll be happy to do it. We'll get started with that
Actually, I think the San Antonio mascot should be dressed as a Spur. Yeah, instead of being a Coyote. If they were the San Antonio Coyotes or Roadrunners, then I could understand this. But they're the Spurs, so I think he should be dressed up as a Spur. Starting Monday, join our new lineup of laughs. At 6, it's Three's Company. At 6:30, you'll laugh with Benson. And at 7, the roommates return on Three's Company. At 7:30, the Sunshine Cab Company with Louis De Palma. We'll keep you smiling. Here's K.C. Jones. The Celtics put the ball in play. Boston shooting 6 of 9. And the Spurs are 6 of 13 so far in this opening quarter play. Bird has 12 to lead everybody in the game. Dennis Johnson laying it down to McHale, who overshot the target from in close, but it's out of bounds off Greenwood, and it'll be Celtics ball. Parrish caught an errant elbow somewhere.
See, the problem with them trapping this way is when they start rotating behind the ball, theoretically they're leaving the guard free, but if the Celtics penetrate with their movement, as DJ did there, it gets them in trouble with either McHale or Parrish being left alone.
Dennis Johnson, after a couple of up fakes, got the shot away against Alvin Robertson. It was an air ball, and the 24-second clock went off anyway, so the Spurs will put it in play with a chance to get within 1. Wes Matthews, since coming here to the Spurs, is averaging 10 points a ball game on the season, doing a good job for them. He's also averaging 6.5 assists. Mitchell again.
Nice penetration. The Celtics, as might be expected, are really not giving it their full defensive attention at this point.
Parrish wheeling, getting it back outside. Danny Ainge open 16-footer.
See, that's what I was talking about a moment ago. That time they trapped inside, they swung the ball, and the guard on the weak side is the one they would prefer to have shoot. But if you penetrate with your pass, it causes them to react inside, and it leaves the big man free instead of the guard.
They double up on Bird, and he gets it back out to Dennis Johnson. Larry again with Mitchell on him. No double team this time.
Now they've cleared that side. See, they've got him isolated on Mitchell.
Look behind the back action to McHale for the hook.
Almost got a little too cute there. Bird was in there on that spin move of his in for his little left hook, and he decided to go to McHale at the last minute. I think he's thinking pass so far in the game rather than looking for his own opportunity. But when he lit it up from 3, he came back and answered quickly. He wanted to put a little show on it.
Sweeping right-handed hook by Jeff Wilkins.
Doesn't Jeff Wilkins know he doesn't have that shot in his repertoire?
Not until a moment ago, I guess. 23-22, Celtics by 1. They double Bird. That leaves Parrish open over the head pass by Bird.
Again, the same situation. Parrish dropped down from the free throw line, and Bird, instead of looking out to swing the ball, looked right inside to make the scoring pass himself.
They get it now to David Greenwood. Now back out to Mitchell, who's been hot, and he remains hot. Mike Mitchell, he's got a ton of points already.
Well, he can fill it up if you let him shoot. You know, he's a straight-up kind of shooter. Doesn't have the fall away, so Kevin, with his size and strength, should be able to stop him cold. But, of course, you've got to guard a man to do that, and so far Kevin's been pretty much letting him do what he pleases.
Mitchell has 10 points. Loose ball foul is called on Parrish. Roberts' second personal. The Celtics' third team foul. The Spurs have 4 team fouls with 4 minutes and 15 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Ainge the rebound. Celtics come down leading by 1. Ainge changes speed. Now to Bird. Leans in, leans back, and hits. 14 points first quarter for Larry Bird.
I'll tell you, he's toying with these people this year. Really. It's a year ago today, by the way, that he had 60. His 60 in New Orleans.
That's right.
New Orleans.
60 big ones.
All right, Jeff. Don't get carried away. He just made a 15-foot hook. Now he wants to go out 22.
Robert with a tomahawk. And it's 29-24, and the Celtics have moved it up to 5. Bird, by the way, with his 14 points, has not missed yet in the ball game. 3.5 minutes left first quarter. A year ago at this time, Bird set the Celtics all-time single-game scoring record with 60 points. Earlier this week, he had 50. The Celtics are 3
How's
on
this
done.
for a break? You don't get this kind of a break too often. This will also tell you
they're not hustling
as
at all.
to whether this team has thrown the towel in or not. Cotton Fitzsimmons is upset. I don't blame him for being upset. But he should be upset at his team, not the officials.
And there's a timeout taken on the floor with 3:07. There's Cotton Fitzsimmons, Gary Crosby look-alike. 3:07 left to play. First quarter, the Celtics have gone on a 6-point run. They now lead by 7, 31-24. Oh, look at that. All right. Michael. Hey, Mike. Did you see this? Huh? Oh, that's why you have the tie on. Mike Fine has a tie on tonight for no apparent reason, but he knew that the cameras were located on the other side of the floor here, and he'd be sitting next to us. So he wants a little television time tonight with Coca-Cola cups in his ears. Remember the time you did that? I was right here. Give me some top scorers, please.
Bird Mitchell as well.
Some of the Celtics fans here in San Antonio obviously are thinking down the road a piece, mon ami.
A little premature, but it's nice to see it in the enemy city.
Celtics so far 12 of 17 in the first quarter, 70%, 8 rebounds to only 3 for the Spurs. And Bird with 14 points has not missed yet in this ball game. Wes Matthews for San Antonio. Celtics on a quick 6-point run have gone ahead by 7, 31-24. Just under 3 minutes to play in the quarter. Mitchell has been scoring all night for the Spurs. He's the only one that's scoring for them.
Good job that time. Got Kevin to completely overreact to that head and shoulder fake he gave him. I say the boys' attention defensively isn't quite on the game. It's always easier to play offense in this game than it is to play defense.
Bird with Mitchell still on him. Bird backing in, has it stolen out of his hands by Alvin Robertson. Ahead to Wes Matthews.
Oh, that'll give you an idea of the kid's ability. He went right in there, put his nose into Bird's kneecaps and just stripped him of the ball. He is quick. He's had a game where he's had 10. He almost had a second one there.
Dennis Johnson outside from 20 feet. Robertson is an emerging big star in this league. There's Wilkins, who took little baby steps, but hit it anyway.
Okay, Jeff, you've got your average. You can
Bernie
relax.
Pryor says the Celtics stepped over the baseline to put the ball in play. Picky, picky, picky.
Oh, they're searching.
You're looking for it, Bernie.
Yes, that's the only time that call will be made in the 1985-86 season anywhere.
7th Boston turnover of the first quarter. Celtics averaging only 16 a game. Lead is down to 3 at 33-30. Walton in for Parrish, snags his first rebound. He had 16 the other night. Larry ahead to McHale, knocked out of bounds by Greenwood.
Good pursuit by Greenwood. They've been releasing Kevin. They feel he can beat Greenwood down floor, plus Greenwood feels he's got to stay on that offensive board for a while. So they're releasing him, but that time he was ready for it and made a good transition.
Bird on the inbounds to Dennis Johnson. McHale sets a pick for him. DJ is open from 16 feet, and he nails his second straight shot. 35-30. Celtics 5-point lead, 1.5 minutes to go first quarter. Robertson, now Wes Matthews. They wheel it around to Jeff Wilkins. Robertson. Matthews from outside. Hits it. Wes Matthews cuts the Celtics lead to 3.
If those guards start hitting from outside on you, you've really got problems because of their speed and penetrating ability. That opens up a lot more options for them.
McHale busting in on Greenwood for 2 more. 37-32 is our score as Matthews goes all the way back, dishes it off to Greenwood, but we have a Boston foul called on Bill Walton. We'll take another look at it.
Good job by Wes Matthews here. Penetrates, draws the green shirts, lays it down to the open man, his center who's coming through there.
Substitutions coming in. Jerry Seestein for Dennis Johnson of the Celtics. Jeff Lamp for Mike Mitchell of the Spurs. Lamp had been with the Milwaukee Bucks in the first 3 years of his NBA career, was cut this season. Now he's in. That means Lamp will be on Bird. Lamp is only 6'6". Bird with a full 3-inch height advantage on Jeff Lamp.
A lot of retreads on this team. That's one of the problems they have too, is when he goes into the bench. Wilkins, Lamp, Wes Matthews, all guys that have played with other clubs have been released.
Bird now with Lamp on him. Draws the double team.
See, he's looking inside
Trying
again.
to get it to
that
McHale.
time, that was a mistake because they had collapsed into the middle.
That's traveling. Boston ball coming back.
Yeah, see, he went to the well once too often on that particular play. He tried to make the play himself. See, he's under pressure. They rotate to the ball well, and this time they're waiting for that move inside.
They get it back down floor quickly, and McHale lays it in off the San Antonio traveling call, and it's 39-32. The Celtics' biggest lead equaled at 7 points with 36 seconds left in the first quarter.
Even the Larry Birds of this league, have to vary what they do offensively and defensively.
Bird with a blocked shot. He's doing everything in the first quarter of this one except taking tickets. Came into the game with 41 and has picked up his 42nd blocked shot of the year. To put it in play as Lamp to Matthews, and now Robertson has Ainge on him. Robertson up top. No. Rebound McHale. He's ridden out of bounds by Greenwood. That'll put Kevin at the foul line to shoot 2 as the Spurs are over the limit on the loose ball foul by Greenwood.
There's Alvin going outside. I think that perhaps they're outside shooting, despite the fact we saw West knock one home. Alvin Robertson's got one already, but I think that's a little suspect. I think Casey feels that the guards cannot hit with that kind of consistency, and with their penetrating ability, I think he's told our people to kind of, if they're going to give him something, give him the outside.
First free throw goes for Kevin McHale, who has 6, 8, 10 points. Make it 11 for Kevin. So between he and Bird have 25 of the Celtics' 41 points. Boston a high-scoring first quarter. 13 seconds left in the quarter. Celtics now with their biggest lead, 9 points. Down to 6 on the quarter clock. Lamp pulls up. A little short on that one. Air ball. Walton gets it. And that is the end of the first quarter as the Celtics, quite frankly, toyed with the San Antonio Spurs. After 1, here in the land of the Alamo, it is Boston 41, San Antonio 32. Louis, tell my stat man. I don't really know if he knows what the hell I'm telling him or if he's having to do too much work. Are you in contact with him? Well, I've asked him twice to give me some stats, and he hasn't given me anything. I mean, leading scorers and stuff. All right, I'll tell him. I thought he was working the truck stuff. Oh, okay. I need more often need the top scorers and stuff. Okay.
Did I? Was my finger on?
Yeah, it was like that. I didn't see that last one.
Okay.
And what do you got McHale for? 13?
No, wait a minute. 2, 4, 6, 10, 10, 12, 13. That's correct. Yeah.
Everybody having a good time so far? Oh, are you really? You do, and you'll clean it up, fella. Boogie. This joint is not sold out. Yeah. Raimundi. What time is the bus in the morning? 7:20. And our plane's at what time? 8. I'll give you my ticket in the morning. I'll give it to you tonight. Well, really, Coos, an easy first quarter for the Celtics in terms of having to exert themselves for this 9-point lead.
Fun game. They're going to enjoy it. It's going to be an offensive route, or at least an offensive type of game. They won't make the defensive commitment unless they need it. If San Antonio, threatens them in any way, then Casey's going to have to deal with that and say, hey, gang, let's dig in a little defensively, but they certainly did it in the first quarter.
This is John Sunvold into the game for the Spurs with Robertson at the guard. They've got Wilkins at center. The forwards are Lamp. There's Robertson firing one up and missing. Walton tipping the rebound, picked up by Seestein. Celtics up by 9. Wedman is into the game, replacing McHale. Hooks it back to Seestein. Bird is open, gets it low. Wedman slapped out of his hands. Bird winds up again, 3 points. 3 for 3 for LB. Oh, mercy. The more you watch him, the more he does things that just make you sit back and really enjoy watching the guy play the game.
Not only that, but I think his experience factor at this point has increased his confidence, and the fact that he knows his teammates so much more, that he seems to be accomplishing more with less difficulty, you know?
Yeah.
He's playing the game more easily.
Effortlessly. It's like...
Exactly. As I say, on offense, he holds the defense in disdain. This is what gets him into trouble sometimes, like when he was being trapped. You know, he was saying, I don't care if there's 3 guys guarding me, I'm still going to make the play.
Funny thing is
you know?
that he usually does make the
Exactly.
play.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but occasionally even he has to adjust to these things.
Lamp from outside, as Seaston had been called for a loose ball foul when he went to the pine for it. Celtics lead at 44-34. Bird, by the way, has not missed a shot in the game. He's 6 for 6 from the floor, 3 of them 3-pointers. Bird has 17 points in the game. Walton wheeling in for the left-handed hook. Boy, and is he playing great basketball. You know, if you project his play over 48 minutes, he'd be averaging 17 rebounds a game. That's the kind of basketball Walton has been playing for this team.
We said early on in the season that if there was any diminishment in his talents, it seemed to be in creating offense for himself, that he was very tentative and a little awkward. This seems to have disappeared, you know, so whether he is really, the fact that he's averaging 20 minutes a game, whether he's actually played himself into better shape or...
Bird again. 3 again! 4 for 4 for Larry Bird from 3-point range.
Well, he made 11 at the All-Star game. He's only got 7 to go. I think he's made up his mind not to miss again till the end of the season.
Sunvold for the Spurs. Along the baseline, he's in all kinds of trouble. Bird steals it. Here they come, 3-on-2. Seaston ahead of the field, loses it. Celtics lead is 13 points at 49-36. Bird has 20 points with 10 minutes to go in the first half.
Tough angle on that pass. He had to kind of get it through nice and low and didn't have that much floor to do it with.
Lamp. Basket for Lamp, fouled by
nice
Scott
goal. This kid, whenever we've seen him, even with Milwaukee, I was surprised to see Milwaukee let him go. Scott Wedman takes a swipe at him after he beat him half a step. He's a pretty good offensive player, unless they don't feel he can handle the forward position at his size, but he's looked pretty good every time we've seen him.
Celtics with Carlisle and Seaston at the guards, Walton at center, Bird and Wedman up front. Larry has yet to miss in the game. He still hasn't missed in the game. He has 22 points on the anniversary of his 60-point night, and don't think that fact escaped him.
Incredible. Now, he just hit the outside shot. Of course, with Lamp on him, unlike Mitchell, he's much easier for him to overpower this kid, so he's going to bring it to the basket more often. Again, you know, no wasted motion in terms of how he's playing the game. He knows immediately what he's matched up with and then adjusts his game accordingly.
That's 23 points in the ball game for Larry Bird with 9.5 minutes to go in the first half. He's already got more than most guys get in the league on a full game basis. Bird with a rebound. Larry had 60 a year ago at this time. On this night, 2 Celtics go down as Walton and Wedman crash into each other. The Spurs should score this time. They're 5-on-3.
Robertson makes the good move. He noticed there.
Bird
Quick
threw it
pass
up court,
down
got it to Wedman. Celtics immediately answer. They're still up by 13, 54-41. Maybe Bird's looking for 62 tonight.
You know, that's what the thought just occurred to me, that we might have a new record on the anniversary.
It's John Sunvold. Bangs it down from deep in the corner. He was around the floor shooting 3-pointers prior to the game with Seaston, and Bird was burying them left and right.
He's another one of those rethreads we were talking about. Player who's come over from another club. He came from Seattle. Bird.
25 for Bird in the first half. He has put on a show and a half for the good folks of San Antonio tonight.
Okay, what's the record in this joint? I think
look it up
Joel LB may be going for it.
Robertson on the miss. Rebound Lamp. Lays it in. Basket counts and he's fouled.
I'll tell you, that's a good strong move by the 6'6" forward. Here it is. Watch him. Bird goes in to help. Lamp on that weak side doesn't really catch Walton by surprise. He just beat him on it. Walton was coming in there pretty strong. Kid made a good move.
All right, Lamp at the line to shoot 1 for San Antonio. And and he gets it, and it's 56-46. The Celtics lead is 10 points with 8:15 to go here in the first half of play. Seasteen for the Celtics. Bird has just been phenomenal tonight with 25. McHale checks in, replacing Wedman. Now Bird steps behind the three-point line, feeds it to Walton, lays it in. Larry's also got about a half dozen or so assists. Big smile on Walton's face as he goes down talking to Bird. Mike Britton is in for San Antonio, by the way, a rookie. McHale with a block. Rebound Bird. Has it stolen out of his hands. And a foul will be called on Walton.
Boy, is that kid quick. Bird's complaining that he was fouled by Alvin, but here's the Mitchell shot that triggered all the activity. Well, I can't tell in the replay. He reaches in, but Bird's body is blocking the play.
Third personal foul on Bill Walton, by the way, and the fourth team foul on the Celtics here in the second quarter.
Foul or not, this kid is quick. Well, you can't show him the ball or you're going to lose it.
7:40 left in the first half. Robert Parrish getting set to check back in for the Celtics. The lead is 10, 58-40. There's a steal by Alvin Robertson, and he'll be at the line to shoot two because right after he stole the ball from Carlisle fouled him.
Watch this. I told you a moment ago, you can't show him the ball. And here, actually, he's guarding it until he went for the pass, but then he didn't protect on the pass. This kid is really tough. They tell me he asked to participate in the Air Force basic training this summer at Lackland Air Force Base area. He felt he needed the discipline. Too many.
Lord.
That's an NBA first, I'll tell you that. There are too many players that have said, hey, let me go in and join
that's not a lot of fun.
Go to basic training for 3 months because I think I need some discipline. Wow.
Basic training was not one of the fun times in my life. Not a lot of laughs. Celtics lead is down to 8 points. It had been as high as 13. 7:20 to go first half. 58-50. McHale and now Seasteen. Dennis Johnson is in replacing Carlisle. Bird's turnaround. What a show!
Oh, wow.
27 points first half for Bird, and he hasn't missed a shot.
And he's only used, he hasn't used his full repertoire yet. Give him a chance.
Just scratching the surface. Sunbold outside. Neither team is paying a tremendous amount of attention to defense tonight.
Yeah, this is a fun game. This is schoolyard. Run and gun, and watch Larry Bird and Alvin Robertson and the other great ones put on a show.
Overthrown from McHale to Bird. And it should be a timeout being taken right now, and there is. 6:49 left to play in the first half, and both teams are just running and gunning. Celtics remain on top. It is Boston 60 and San Antonio 52. Must be a thing in here on records. Records. Individual regular season, opponent's regular season, 60-61. George McGinnis, 58 points. But it doesn't say where. Points. Gervin had 63 in here, Coos.
Did he?
Well, hemisphere points. Gervin, 53.
53, that's the
53.
Bird's well on his way after that.
Now the 58 by McGinnis, it doesn't say if it was here. Louis. Never mind. What's the record for points in this place?
53 by Gervin.
It is 53, okay. Give me Bird's numbers, field goals and free throws. Bird's numbers, field goals and free throws. I want to tell you, Celtics fans, about Celtics Pride, that four-color tabloid magazine loaded with action color photographs, player profiles, and celebrity columns. To get your full year subscription, Send $20 in check or money order to Celtics Pride, Post Office Box 9148, Boston 02114. Bird is out and Wedman is in for the Celtics. Larry sits down with 27 points here in the first half, which is over his average of 25.5 a game. Missed shot by Mitchell, rebound by Dennis Johnson. So Bird is already over his per game average in the first half of this game. The Celtics are 24 of 29 from the floor in the game, Coos. 82%.
Yeah, well, as you pointed out, it has not been a defensive struggle.
Got an offensive foul. Now Bernie Fryer's calling it a loose ball foul on McHale.
Yeah, they were struggling
It's
down.
going to be a loose ball foul when you're going for the ball on the offensive end.
A little bit of a strange call there, I'd say. They were just fighting for the position. McHale did not meet the pass, and I guess Fryer saying in trying to avoid Mitchell from stealing it, why he used his body. Mitchell took a shot, as you can see.
Yeah, got hit in the eye or in the teeth. Spurs, by the way, are shooting very well as well. They're 54% from the floor in the first half of the game. The Celtics are 82.5%. 24 of 29 field goal attempts have gone in for the Celtics in the ball game.
Well, you know, the two guys they've got out, Steve Johnson's leading the league in field goal percentage, and Gilmore's third in the league. So they've lost. They're shooting 50% as a team, but they've lost their two top offensive players in terms of field goal accuracy.
McHale low over Mike Mitchell for an easy pair. Celtics with Seaston and Johnson at the guards, Parrish at center, McHale and Wedman the forwards. It's Sunvolt and Robertson for the Spurs, Britton at center, Lamp and Mitchell are the forwards. This is Mike Britton, second-round draft choice this year from South Carolina. Now Lamp buries the baseline jumper. And it's 62-56. The Spurs have cut what once was a Celtic 13-point lead down to 6 points.
See, the thing about a game like this, when it's run and shoot, very little defense, even, you know, you can put the water boy in it, he's going to get 12 or 14 points, you know.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off everyone, and all of these guys are pretty good shooters coming in, so.
Mike Britton gets called for a foul as he went to block Parrish's shot. Maybe a victim of being a rookie here. Let's see.
Britton hasn't gotten
That
much
was a good block.
playing time this year. It looks that way. I'll tell you what, the press guide lists Britton as the tallest draftee ever signed by San Antonio. Now, when your own press guide only has that to say about you, you know, that's like when you were in high school, right? And you used to talk about, you know, the date you had, what a great personality. You know what that meant, right? It'd break a few mirrors for you, too. So I couldn't believe that when I was going through that. And they poor Britton, they're saying the tallest, that's all they had about him, the tallest lefty, 7'1", that San Antonio ever had.
He's the only grasshopper collector they've ever got.
That's when you know things are going a little bad, even during your first year.
Robertson with Dennis Johnson on him. Couple of up fakes, down to 10 on the shot clock now. Sunvolt, who's got pretty good range, fires from about 23 feet, misses the shot, McHale the rebound. Outlet to Bird, who just checked back in. Larry has 27 points and hasn't missed a shot in the first half. McHale Ainge, little baseline pop, tipped in by Parrish.
That's the difficulty with, well, a young center anyway is going to be over anxious in terms of trying to protect the paint. You got to remember, when you're short-handed to begin with, you got to make a decision whether to go after that penetrator and leave a 7-foot center free to go to the basket, or whether to fake at him defensively and do the best you can and stay with Parrish.
Nice job by Mike Mitchell going in for a pair, and it's 66-58. Celtics lead by 8 points. Time remaining here in the first half, 4.5 minutes. Been a shootout here in San Antonio tonight. Fastball to Bird, low, couple of up fakes, little hook, goaltending, 29 points for Bird. And he still hasn't missed a shot.
Here it is, does a few little spin moves. Britton again a little over anxious to help out, although that was, I think, a good play on his part. He had to go for it. But all it did was give Bird an additional 2 points.
Sunvolt outside, off the mark, rebound by Lamp. Bird blocks it. Lamp will be at the line shooting 2 as they're going to call Bird for the foul.
Lamp's doing a good job in there. He's really doing much more than you would expect him to do on that offensive board off the bad shot by Sunvolt. You know, in this kind of a game, you want to let him fly, but you don't want to be out there 22 feet. against an opponent like the Celtics if you can avoid it, or at least at this stage of the game.
Celtics are over the limit in team fouls, so San Antonio will be shooting the rest of the first half. The Spurs have committed just 3 team fouls. One more for Jeff Lamp. He gets 1 out of the 2, and it's a 9-point ball game. 68-59 Celtics. Ainge quickly up court for the Celts. Now DJ. They set a double stack, trying to get it into Bird. Mitchell cut in front into the passing lane and stole it away.
Same situation. DJ went to the well once too often. That's the
for that backdoor
third time he's gone to the backdoor play with Bird.
Bird the rebound of the missed San Antonio Spurs shot. Larry pushing it up. Larry has 29 here in the first half.
It's all right to toy with your opponent from time to time when you've got this kind of strength, but don't underestimate them
Blocked
too much.
by Robertson. How about that? 6'1" guard blocks a 6'11" forward shot. Jeff Wilkins for the Spurs. Goes over Bird and gets it. Gets the good shooter's bounce. Bird cross court to Dennis Johnson, and we have a whistle by Jess Kersey and a foul on that young man right there, Alvin Robertson. There's
Well,
look at it.
I hope they get some strength in here before this kid burns out, because he's got the potential to be a fine one.
12-3.
And it would be a shame if he puts in a half a dozen years working the way he is at it, and then, you know, starts to get discouraged without accomplishing anything.
Parrish. Now McHale, the fall away pumpkin for 2. And it's 70-61. 2:49 left in the first half. Bird blocks the shot. Goes out of bounds. It'll be a timeout being taken by the Celtics with 2:41 left to play here in the first half at San Antonio. High scoring affair. Celtics 70 and the Spurs 61. Guy's in another world. I asked him that about 5 minutes ago, and he gave it back to me, and he says, I don't know. Jesus. Yeah. 53. All right. 111-79. Wow.
What was that?
The 53 that Gervin scored. Did you get that, official?
11 and 3.
11? 11 for 11 and 3 for 3.
Yeah.
And he's 4 for 4 and 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Play the Channel 56 Miller Lite fourth quarter shootout and have a chance of winning a Sony Watchman or a Miller Lite jacket. Look for entries at participating light beer outlets. First drawing will be on April 1st. Shooting stats in the first half. You can tell they're not playing defense. Boston 28 of 35, 80%. San Antonio 24-47, 51%. Spurs to inbounds, they do to Wes Matthews. The rebounding is 18-8 Celtics. Fall away by Lamp. Aren't that many rebounds when teams are shooting 80%, of course. Bird, by the way, is 11 for 11 from the floor, including 3 for 3 from three-point range. No, 4 for 4 for three-point range and 3 for 3 from the foul line. He has not missed a shot all night, and he has 29 first-half points.
And he's still got about 26 minutes to increase that.
Bird has Jeff Lamp on him. He goes back door to Dennis Johnson, and returning the favor. We're going to get a traveling call on the Celtics because the Celtics are ahead by 9. They're shooting 80%. Yet they've managed to turn the ball over 14 times in the first half of this game to only 2 for the Spurs. reach-in foul on Lamp, and Bird will be at the line.
Well, we talked to Chris Ford. We'll be talking to him at halftime, but we pre-taped it, and he can, he'll reflect their fears from a coaching standpoint. Coming off a game like they had at Houston, where they had complete artistic success in terms of how the game should be played, and got them, broke the 2-game losing streak, got a good win against the team that they wanted to beat in Houston under their belt, and what was going to happen coming into San Antonio against an undermanned team. The expected letdown, and this is what we're getting. We're getting an exceptional performance by Bird, but nevertheless, a little carelessness on passing, no defensive effort whatsoever, and just go with the flow. And
Thinking of going
that's
with
the way it works.
Stroke down tonight. He's 5 for 5 at the foul line. Now has 31 points in the first half. 2 minutes remaining. Whistle and a foul. No, whistle and an illegal defense.
Yeah.
Illegal defense warning against the Celtics.
It's always the weak side. There's Casey and Ray Malchiori, Jimmy Rogers. Casey with a little happier today with the pressure off after playing giveaway there in Washington and Dallas. Why he was showing those wrinkle lines a little bit more. But that Houston one wiped them out pretty much.
Mike Mitchell with that line drive jumper of his rattles it down. And it's 72-63, the Celtics with a 9-point lead. Here's the man for the night, Bird with 31 in the first half. Parrish and now Danny Ainge. Danny has it slapped out of his hands. Dennis Johnson picks it up. 8 on the shot clock. DJ buries it. The Celtics continue to shoot 80% or better here in the first half.
We may have our MVP before halftime for an NBA first for us, too.
You're darn right. It's going to be pretty hard to beat Bird tonight, folks. Wes Matthews back for the Spurs. Celtics leading by 11. Their biggest lead has been 13. Spurs' biggest lead was 2. Mike Mitchell on the runner. Mitchell's having a pretty good night as well.
Yeah, he's got his average. He's averaging 22, and that's about what he's got
24 now.
24?
24 in the game for Mike Mitchell. Ainge, cross court to Dennis Johnson. Celtics are looking for an illegal defense. DJ in the paint to Kevin McHale. Parrish, now Ainge. 2 for Danny. He's like 3 out of 4 from the floor, and the Spurs throw it away, and the Celtics will have it back with 50 seconds to go in the first half.
It's a healthy sign. Despite what we've been talking about, run and gun, very little defense, a little careless with their ball handling. You notice, especially that last time down, the unselfish, absolutely, the unselfish searching out of the best possible shot is still evident.
Another
steal. This kid is something else.
And a reach-in foul on Dennis Johnson, which will put Alvin Robertson at the line. That kid is just a fine young player, Alvin Robertson.
Tell you, and stealing it from DJ isn't the easiest thing in the world. DJ does a good job with that little crossover slap move of his, but he doesn't allow it to be done to him too much. He protects that ball pretty well. This kid also, by the way, directs the San Antonio Symphony Orchestra in his part-time during the summer.
Well, you really been the old press guy today, haven't you?
I figured it might be needed, buddy. Absolutely. He directs the offense during the winter and the Symphony Orchestra during the summer.
And he went to basic training. And
absolutely.
Collects frauds.
Just come to me for those little interesting tidbits.
All right. Another foul on the Celtics. This one's called on Danny Ainge as you take another look at it.
Matthews' penetration gets aborted.
At the foul line will be Wes Matthews to shoot for San Antonio, and into the game for the first time tonight. We get a look at their #1 draft pick from Loyola of Chicago. Number 6 right there is Alfredrick Hughes, 6'5", outstanding shooting guard in college at Loyola. Hughes gives Alvin Robertson a breather. First time Robertson's gone out in the first half. Matthews, good foul shooter, 80% man. Gets the front end of the 2.
I'm surprised that this kid hasn't stuck with, what is this, about his 3rd team, I think. More than that, 5 teams or
with
so.
Atlanta,
I'll tell you,
Washington, Philadelphia, Chicago. That's 4. This is his 5th at least.
He's got a lot of skills and no real discernible weaknesses. He's a little undisciplined and gets carried away at times, but that isn't anything you can't teach a kid. And when you've got
And it's certainly not uncommon in this league.
a guy, exactly, and a guy with his speed and quickness, I keep saying it, that's what separates the men from the boys in the NBA. If you've got a, whatever the position, there's big artist.
And that's Steve Johnson.
And Steve Johnson alongside Johnny Moore. I'll tell you, they have had their share of problems, absolutely. And plus, they're remaking this entire team.
Once they traded Gervin.
Yeah. Cotton decided to, get rid of Gervin because he wanted to establish a new atmosphere, and didn't feel that the young players coming in, if they were looking up to Gervin, and Gervin wasn't playing the way at least Fitzsimmons wanted it done, that he'd have trouble, instituting what he wanted to do. So he bit the bullet on Gervin, and there's still a lot of people upset with him about that.
12 seconds left on the shot clock for the Celtics, and 10 left on the game clock, or 14 on the game clock. They get it back to Dennis Johnson. Three-pointer. No. Rebound Ainge. Gets it to McHale. Pumpkin. Yes, at the buzzer. And the Celtics score 80 points in the first half. Phenomenal shooting by the Celtics. Larry Bird, 31 points in the first half. With a score at halftime, Boston 80 and San Antonio 78. Let's take a break. When we get back, Jack Hines and Uma Pumaraju will be with us with a halftime news update. Stay with us. It's 80-69. They had like 14 points up there for the Spurs when I looked up to give you the score. No, it's not, because I said it was 80-78. What the hell? Now they change it again. Now they make it at 69, not 64. Jeez. Okay. You know, if Bird does what he does in the second half, he'll break his record, which was set a year ago today. Year ago today. No, he hasn't missed a shot. He's 11 for 11 from the floor. Was yesterday? Whatever.
He came 1 point shy of breaking the Celtics record for the most points on half.
Oh.
32 by easy end to Bill Connor.
Chris, I'm sure you don't mind reliving that Houston game just momentarily. I remember saying at the end of that game that I felt
McCauley
that
and
other than
Sharman?
coming out of there with
Hey, you must have had a lot of assists. $173. Yep. Oh boy, we got a bunch of clowns entertaining at halftime. Ku's looking around. It was a year ago yesterday. We don't have a halftime anymore. It's all back there, being news all back there. We just sit here and wait. What's that? I had an itch.
The Celtics in the first quarter, the Celtics in the second quarter, 32 of 48.
Gee, right. Is this rebounds 22 of 7 to 7?
It must do, yeah. You're out and rebounding us, but we got almost every one of your misses.
You know, you're right. You're right.
You know, I looked at that thing and said, you know, it can't be. So we got almost every
22 to 7. Louis. 22 to 7.
Yeah.
See, there have only been 25, only been 33 missed shots.
Yeah, that's 29 rebounds.
All right.
Yeah.
So it can't be 25 to. No, we can't do it anymore, son. Yeah, it's 22 to 7, Boston. Hey, Glenn. Glenn. All right. How much time? 30? Does this have to be a real fast lead? Because I got a couple of things I'd like to say. All right. Yeah. Gil Santos and Bob Cousy back here at the Hemisphere in San Antonio, Texas, where the Celtics lead at halftime, 80 to 69. I'm mistaken to give you a wrong score at the end of the half, as the scoreboard had it wrong here. But in any event, the Celtics a phenomenal first half. 32 of 40 from the floor for the Celtics. Larry Bird has not missed a shot. He has 31 points in the half. That is one short of the Celtics' one-half record of 32, which is owned by Easy Ed McCauley and Bill Sharman. Prior to the game, Bob Cousy had a chance to talk to Celtics assistant coach Chris Ford. Let's go to that tape.
Chris, I'm sure you don't mind reliving that Houston game just momentarily. I remember saying at the end of that game that I felt that other than coming out of there with a W, which always pleases coaches, maybe there was an additional quiet satisfaction with the way the guys played that game.
Yeah, I think that Casey was very happy in that we sustained our intensity for a greater portion of the game. We've been falling into the old trap of getting up on teams 12 or 14 points, and all of a sudden everyone relaxing a little bit and start doing it on their own and starting shooting 20-foot jumpers and not taking the ball inside, which is our strength. When we sustain the ball going inside for a long course of game, we usually wind up with easy baskets and then kick the ball outside for wide open jumpers. But it's a danger point right now when we get up 12 or 14 points on a team.
What could you sense that in the locker room with this team? I mean, as I say, it was certainly an artistic success the other night as far as I was concerned, and you're exactly right. They went inside with much more consistency. They complemented it with a good, tough D, and of course they were awesome, and Walton was awesome off the backboard. Can you sense this was going to happen in the locker room before the game?
Yeah, I thought that we would respond for the Houston game after coming off 2 losses, which we should have won. We had, particularly the Dallas game, we had to put away, and as I was saying, we got up to that 12 or 14 point magic number, and then all of a sudden the bottom fell out for us. But going into the Houston game in the locker room, guys were more intense, and you could just feel it.
I guess the next obvious question to the listener is, okay, you sensed perhaps in this case, but what do the coaches have to do to trigger this kind of a reaction, you know, other than a Newt Rockney kind of motivational talk every night?
We're always harping on what the opposition is going to do to us tonight. Try to tell them about particular individuals who may have, you know, explosive offensive nights. But I think that KC is responding from the bench by making substitutions earlier in the game. And also using the timeouts. Particularly in Houston, I thought that we got it up to like 12 or 14 points once again, and we started to take some outside shots. We had a turnover or two, and all of a sudden Casey said, hey, let's not let this get any further, and he took a quick timeout. And I think that was, you know, we got the guys over the bench, and we said, hey, you know, we don't want something to reoccur once again. Let's start playing with some intensity.
So maybe a little more attention to detail before the game, while the game's going on, that type of thing. What about, you know, you and I have been through the mill as players and coaches in this league. Does a team develop, I guess, a certain kind of personality that will respond to, you know, this kind of motivation more easily? I guess I'm saying, can you have a winning team, you know, that doesn't respond?
No, I don't think you can have a winning team. I think that the one strong point is we have individuals that meet challenges, and I think that Larry particularly is the chief culprit as far as getting bored with some of these games. I think that Larry wants to be competitive, and he wants to face a tough competition every night. And sometimes the opposition doesn't present that challenge to him, and he becomes a little lackadaisical and then tries to play for the fans. You know, trying to do something fancy or banking a three-pointer or something like that to try to get some enthusiasm from the fans.
Well, you're not going to like to hear this. If that's the case, you're probably going to have to leave a wake-up call for him midway through the first quarter tonight.
Tonight's another challenge because the Spurs are going to be going out without Steve Johnson and Nardis Gilmore, two of their biggest players up front. And once again, it's going to be up to Casey and Jimmy and myself to try to motivate these guys, and hopefully that the starters will get off to a good start. That's important. And then that we sustain it over the course of the game by using the substitutes. The green team, which we call Bill Walton gang. They're going to be playing a lot of valuable minutes down this next 17 games, and just hope that the starters get off to a good start, and then the green team come in and sustain it.
Get out the whip, Coach. Let's go get him. Thanks for joining us. Gil and I are going to be back with more halftime in just a moment.
Peter! Not here. For your information, why don't you write a note? Why don't you write these notes down, too, so we can pay attention later. Highest single-game field goal percentage Celtics, 67.9 versus Golden State last season, 1984, November. And most points in the game, 173 against Minneapolis in 1959. They've got Bird for only 2 assists. They're crazy.
That's all he's had.
I know he had about a half a dozen.
He
Really?
just had that one spectacular one over his back, and that's about it.
Really?
Yeah. He's had more turnovers than he has assists.
You're right.
He's been shooting all night.
Gil Santos along with Bob Cousy back here at the Hemisphere in San Antonio, Texas, where the Celtics are shooting lights out in the first half of this one. 41 points in the first quarter, 39 in the second quarter. The Celtics with an 11-point lead at halftime, 80-69 over the Spurs. The Celtics with a rebounding edge, officially now 21-7 in the first half. The Celtics shooting 80%, 32 out of 40 from the floor. They're 12 of 13 from the foul line. Bird hasn't missed a shot, and he's got 31 points, and it's like, if you like offense, this is the place.
let's just sit back and enjoy Larry Bird,
You're right.
because it's like 4th of July. It's going to continue to be a fireworks display. We keep saying Bird, can't possibly show you anything new. And I'll tell you what, I bet when the records are checked, I don't know that anyone has ever done that in one half of basketball.
80% shooting
yeah,
for a team.
what we've just seen him accomplish, 80% as a team, and even his personal stats. So
Larry's,
it's going to be an offensive display. Let's enjoy it.
Larry's statistics for the first half: 11 shots attempted, 11 shots made, including 4 for 4 from three-point range and 5 for 5 from the foul line, for a total of 31 points. And isn't it strange that it was a year ago last night in New Orleans that Bird scored the Celtics team record for a single game, 60 points. He might even break that record tonight.
I just said to Chris Ford in the interview, we may have to leave a wake-up call for Larry Bird.
I don't think
obviously, we didn't have to. The one guy in that club we didn't have to shake awake for this somewhat meaningless game was Larry Bird, obviously, as he has just gone out and proven to us.
So the Celtics have an 11-point lead at the half, 80-69. And we'll remind you don't have to be on the court to get called for traveling. Channel 56 and Stop and Shop, sending lucky winners to the nearest Stop and Shop with a $250 gift certificate. All you have to do to enter is go to a participating Stop and Shop and fill out an official entry form. Keep watching Channel 56 to see if you're a winner. When we come back, we'll have the second half of this basketball game and see if Larry Bird can continue to shoot total lights out here in San Antonio. They drive us nuts on the road. They drive us crazy on the road. I think half of the people that live any place else in America are all originally from New England. Well, there are some of the phenomenal statistics of the first half of this game that we were telling you about. The Celtics 80% from the floor, 92% from the foul line, 21-7 rebounding edge. The only area where the Celtics are having a bad night is in turnovers, where they've turned it over 15 times. When you're shooting 80%, I guess you can turn it over 18 times, really not worry about it, Kuz.
Yeah, I don't think Casey really spent a lot of time when that's at halftime. It's expected to be for them to be a little more careless with the ball, given the tempo of the game and the way both teams have approached it so far. So you're going to see some spectacular plays, and you're going to see that kind of carelessness.
Here's the final out of the NCAA. Georgetown knocking off Texas Tech 70-64. So the Big East, Georgetown Hoyas win their opening battle in the NCAAs. It'll be Matthews and Robertson at the guards, Greenwood, Wilkins, and Mike Mitchell up front for San Antonio. Ainge, Johnson, Parrish, McHale, and Bird for the Celtics. They go low to Alvin Robertson. The miss, the rebound to Robert Parrish. Celtics leading rebounder in the first half, by the way, was, I believe, yes it was, Larry Bird with 7. Parrish with it. They set the pick for Ainge, who can't control the ball. Actually, they set a double pick for him, and he went behind it.
Yeah, the play worked, but the pass didn't. Bad pass on Roberts' part that time. He hit him behind, and Ainge didn't have enough room to react to it.
That's the 16th turnover of the game for the Celtics. There's the 8th rebound for Bird. Dennis Johnson back quickly. Celtics leading by 11, 80-69. Bird, another rebound. Gets it off to Dennis Johnson. And a whistle and foul on the Spurs. That'll be on Jeff Wilkins.
I would say Bird is not conscious of, attempting to break his record. He just gave up a layup pretty much there to DJ. There's the Wilkins foul reaching in.
Dennis Johnson for the Celtics. We played a minute of the third quarter. Neither team has scored. McHale wheels, has it blocked by Wes Matthews. Bird between two folks. Squeezes one off to Parrish. Ball is knocked loose. What's going on here? Hit it with a stick. Parrish, rainbow jumper. Thank you, Robert.
I'll tell you, that kid Robinson is always around the ball. They gave him 5 steals in the first half alone. He's averaging almost 4, 3.5. So, and his high for the season is 10.
Ainge got a hand on it. McHale picked it up. He's got Bird with him. Ahead to Larry. Back to Danny. Lays it in. Nice job. Bird just kissing the ball right back to Danny Ainge. The San Antonio Spurs quickly want a timeout. And now with 10.5 minutes to play in the third quarter, the Spurs haven't scored yet. The Celtics lead is up to 13 at 80. No, it's up to 15. 84-69. Louis. Woogie, could you get us a couple of more Diet Cokes, please? Thank you. How are the fajitas doing, Louis? Hey, you know what I had, Louis? First time, flautas. You ever have those? Oh, I had them.
With a flip.
Play back in. Celtics, with the first 2 hoops of the third quarter, have opened up the lead to 15 points. This is Wilkins. And now Alvin Robertson. Wes Matthews along the baseline. Weak side rebound was in the hands of Robert Parrish. Tipped out of his hands by the Spurs. Boston ball coming down. Celtics doing no wrong tonight. I'll tell you that. 80% shooting first half. Bird gets it to Robert Parrish. Wheels left-handed. Oh, sweet move by the Chief. And it's a 6-0 run and a 17-point Boston lead.
The old plays that you put on the blackboard work a lot better when the defense isn't digging in. You notice that? Coaches get to thinking, hey, these plays aren't so bad after all. You know, they let themselves get faked out, I think.
Ainge whipping one to Dennis Johnson. Oh, these guys are smoking. They may shoot 80% for the game. In case you're interested or wondering, the Celtics record for high field goal percentage in a game ever is 69.7. Tip in there for David Greenwood is, was it 69.7 against Golden State. McHale the miss. Ainge slapped it back to McHale. Count the basket. All right, officially it's 67.9% is the Celtics record for a game for field goal percentage. And the way they're going tonight, they're going to eclipse that record. I mean, they're going to have to get awfully cold.
I think Mr. Bird certainly will. He's
Well,
still
Larry
on
hasn't shot yet.
1,000%.
Yeah. McHale with a chance to make it a 3-point play. And holy smoke, boys and girls, it's a 20-point Boston lead. They have outscored the Spurs by 9 here in the first 3 minutes of the third quarter. The green team certainly has its hot shooting shoes on tonight. Alvin Robertson bounces one home, and it's 91-73 with just under 9 minutes to go in the third. And the story now is how many will Larry end up with and how high a shooting percentage will the Celtics team end up with. But you know, I've noticed, Kuz,
he's not going to search it
almost
out
self-conscious effort by Bird not to shoot.
Absolutely. He's given up the layup he was in there for, so he's going to ignore it, I think, for a while. Matthews.
Pretty good move by Wes Matthews. Dennis Johnson back for the Celtics. The lead is 16 for Boston. Parrish got Wilkins on him. Danny Ainge making the over-the-shoulder grab. They're down to 12 on the shot clock. Danny left-handed layup. Oh, telling Larry Bird, hey, I can shoot left-handed too, you know. Celtics continue to fire in everything that they're throwing at the hoop. Beginning to think you and I could toss one in from here the way that.
Well, I tell you, when you get into this kind of a situation, you know, it completely dilutes any pressure that the players might feel, and so it's the one thing they all can do well in this league is shoot the ball. That's the easiest part of this game of basketball, is putting the ball in the hole. So when you get this kind of a game, boy, everybody wants to get into the act.
Dennis Johnson with the basketball for the Celtics, leading at 93-77. The biggest lead was 20 a few moments ago. Ainge working it to McHale, and now DJ works open for a 15-footer. One of the few Celtic misses of the night, and the Spurs
couldn't control the rebound.
Boy, those poor guys got to feel like they've been blindsided by a rolling freight train. Johnson will be at the line to shoot two, fouled in the act of shooting by San Antonio's Alvin Robertson. Now Alfredrick Hughes checks in for the Spurs, and let's see who he'll replace. Replaces Robertson. Hughes is in to get some playing time for San Antonio, and Dennis Johnson's at the line for a couple of free throws for the Celtics. Dennis, in the first half, had 10 points. McHale, by the way, had 19 in the first half, which is a big productive night for most people, and it was overshadowed by Bird's 31.
That'll do it. 31 and a half without a miss will overshadow most things that
most people chatting about it.
Game, yeah.
DJ misses. It's only the second missed free throw of the night for Boston. Tomorrow night, 7:30. Celtics at Atlanta to take on the smoking hot Atlanta Hawks, who have won 7 in a row. Bird blocks the shot. Second block of the night for LB. Take another peek at it.
There's the Hughes jumper over DJ. Good rebound here by Greenwood. They only had 7 of those things in the first half.
Foul is called.
Celtics never
on Bird,
missed. That's a good way to keep a team from getting too many rebounds on
Yeah,
them.
don't miss your shots.
Yeah, don't miss the shot. Why hadn't they thought about that before?
You were a coach. I mean, when you played a team
it
that
never
was
occurred to me.
Great rebounding team, didn't you tell them, look, go out there, hit all our shots, we won't have to worry about rebounds?
Never occurred to me to say that to him.
I could have
like
told you that.
I'd probably still be in coaching if I
you
thought
probably sure would have been.
My Lord. It's the little things that make a difference in sports.
Well, sometimes hindsight is a lot easier than foresight. Bird has yet to shoot in this half. Now he's doubled up. That leaves somebody open. It's Parrish underneath who gets a blazing fastball from Ainge for the 2.
And again, the fake of the swing of the ball along the perimeter draws the defense to that side and opens up the pass inside to Parrish. So Celtics have learned their lesson well, and they're executing on that tap inside and coming up with a layup instead of the outside jumper.
Danny Ainge with it now. Danny hits Bird. 5 on the shot clock. Parrish wheels in. Little snake move. Count the basket. And he's fouled. And it'll be Parrish at the line. Look at it.
Well, Robert is saying to himself, you know, I didn't get in on this fun in the first half. It's been so easy for the guys underneath to get their stats up. I might as well get involved a little bit with the offense here. And that's his 4th hoop here in the 3rd quarter.
Bird, by the way, now has 10 rebounds in the game. He's probably going to concentrate on rebounds in the 3rd quarter and assists in the 4th. Although he's had several assists here in the 3rd as well.
Well, he probably would like to go for the quad double since Alvin Robertson, the rookie, had it in his 2nd year in the league. Only the 2nd player in the history of the league ever to get a quad double.
Foul is on Robert Parrish. Yeah, double figures in, rebounds, points, assists, and steals.
The steals Nate Thurman did it in 1974, the great center, who I think was playing with Cleveland at the time. There's the Greenwood penetration.
Only his was
his
block
was
shots.
rebound. Block shots,
Yeah.
yeah. Rebounds is block shots.
First of 2 free throws goes for David Greenwood. Can you believe with 6 minutes and 21 seconds to play in the third quarter, the Celtics have already scored 99 points. The Celtic team record for points is 173, scored by my partner's team, or one of my partner's teams, back in 1959.
You know, I was consoling Casey before the game. He was saying, boy, they're going to try to run us tonight. They know we're tired, a long road trip. And I said, Case, that's probably what these guys would enjoy. And I saw Fallon job by McHale. I said, I think they'll have more fun and probably run better.
Rebound, Bird. It's 11 rebounds in the game to go with his 31 points. Celtics leading by 20 again, 101-81. Danny missed a shot. Get him out of there. Tell you what, the Celtics have missed a couple of shots here. I don't know who he was passing to. Was nobody there.
No,
anyway,
that time
Celtics
he was
missed a
out of
few
control.
shots in this quarter, but they're still probably going to shoot over 50 or 60% for the quarter.
It appears that way.
5.5 minutes left in the third. Celts leading 101-81. Tried to sneak a backdoor shot that time, but it was slapped away. Dennis Johnson outside. No, they missed 2 in a row for the first time in a while. Mike Mitchell is left uncontested. McHale snags it. Here come the Celtics 3-on-4. DJ all the way. Just had an alley and took it. Everybody had their back to the ball. 22nd timeout being called by the Spurs to talk over this latest turn of events that now has the Celtics enjoying their biggest lead of the game, 22 points. Here's that last hoop by Dennis Johnson.
He's looking the field over, waiting for the defense to declare themselves. They don't. They keep their back to him instead of, you know, it's a pretty basic part of basketball. When you're going back on defense, you want to do it facing the play. These guys were all running back, facing their own basket, and DJ just took advantage, turned on the speed and blew by everybody, beat them all to the basket.
Celtics right now are 41 of 53 in the game, which computes to 77% shooting from the floor for the Celtics. Not too shabby.
Well, they're certainly having a bad quarter here.
Yeah, they've missed 4 shots. This is Al Frederick Hughes. John Sunvold has also checked into the game. Bird blocks his 3rd shot. Holy smoke. Guy's got 31 points, 10 rebounds, and now 3 block shots. Got about 5 assists, 4 block shots. Officially now, I'm told. Bird. Looks like his first shot of the third quarter. The basket counts.
Yes,
And
sir.
a foul is called. The Bird is 12 for 12 in the game for 33 points as he matches his jersey number.
It is. He was waiting to drop it down to Rabbit, but the defense never committed fully, so he wanted to get one left-hander tonight anyway amongst the 40 or 50, whatever he'll end up with.
Wilkins ends up on the bench now as he picks up his 4th personal foul, and the Spurs are over the limit at 5 fouls for the third quarter. The Celtics have committed just 2. Larry knows he's having a good night. Ainge zinging him about missing the foul shot, maybe. He does.
Oh, for God's sakes, get him out of there.
This is
Stinking
first
out
shot of the
place.
game.
Come on, the fans are booing. Get him out of there. Come on, Casey.
Bird whips a pass in the lane that's stolen by Lamp. For San Antonio to Al Frederick Hughes. Now Jeff Lamp is left open. He's a good shooter. Misses the shot. Tip-in attempt no good. Sunball back to Lamp. 2. And it's 105-83. Celtics' biggest lead had been 23 points a moment ago. Lamp, by the way, as a reserve, has 13 points.
Boy, he's in a severe slump
That's his
now, I'll
first
tell you.
field goal miss of the night.
He is really fighting a severe slump.
Only 12 of 13 now. Lamp dishes it off to Mike Britton, who loses the ball out of bounds. Bill Walton checks in for Kevin McHale. Kevin sits down with 24 points, and the Celtics want a timeout, so we'll take the timeout here. With 3 minutes and 43 seconds left to play in the third quarter, the Celtics are rolling merrily along in this one, 105 to 83. This guy's going to be a lunatic, too.
You know, that's going to be one of those situations of keeping up with the Joneses where they're going to get wilder and wilder and wilder with these stunts.
Yeah. Yeah, can you believe this?
Yeah. Until somebody takes a rifle and does the coyote in, and then they can go after the chicken with a bazooka, and the gorilla, and
And the one
whatever else
the
is
thing that they have in Philly.
out there in the zoo.
On the Ladybird block,
Yeah.
the guy down there called it no shot, so they gave him a steal instead of a block. He's got 3 blocks.
I want to remind you to join us tomorrow night, 7:30, Celtics and Hawks in Atlanta. Atlanta's won 7 straight. They'll have a full house. It'll be a tough one for the Celtics tomorrow night. 7:30 right here on Channel 56, Celtics at Atlanta. Through this point in the third quarter, the Celtics are shooting 73%, 43 of 59, with a 31-17 rebounding edge and a 22-point lead. Jeff Lamp and now Sunvol. The Celtics have made some changes. Carlisle and Seestein now are the guards as Sunvol hits. It's Carlisle and Seestein the guards. Parrish at center. Wedman and Walton are the forwards. San Antonio has Hughes and Sunvold as the guards. Mike Britton at center with Lamp and Greenwood as the forwards. Parrish gets it, double teamed now. The Chief back outside to Seestein. Kicks it off to Walton. He thinks he's an outside shooter too, so he misses that one, but Wedman has the rebound. Oh, the Celtics get the rebound of their own missed shot to push the lead back up to 22 points with 3 minutes even left in the third quarter. This has been no contest since the first, when the Celtics took a 9-point lead and have just continued to add to it ever since.
And it doesn't necessarily make it any better for San Antonio when both teams go to the bench either.
No, you're right.
Celtics continue to have quite an advantage there as well.
Wedman banks one in. Hey, that shooting forward position between Bird and Wedman is going to chalk up some very impressive statistics tonight. Larry sat down with his 33 points and 10 or 11 rebounds and 3 or 4 blocked shots. Hughes outside. That's the thing that kid is supposed to do better than anything else, is shoot the ball. Now Frederick Hughes, #1 pick. There was some controversy when they picked him ahead of Sam Vincent. Most people felt this team needed a point guard with Johnny Moore getting some age on him. Outside Seestein. Rebound Greenwood. Ahead it comes to Sunvold, who can't hang on.
When it
Celtics
rains,
ball.
huh? When it rains.
Yeah.
Wow. Took his eye off the ball. It's no different than any other sport. You're gonna look it into your hands and then take off. Don't take off before you have a pretty good handle on it.
Seestein for the Celtics, and now Walton with 1 minute and 55 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Parrish has it low. They double him. He beats the double team, does not hit the shot, and a loose ball foul on David Greenwood, and the Celtics will have a shooter at the line. It'll be Bill Walton, who just got run over by Greenwood.
Well, as Robert breaks out of the trap.
Kind of tough to get a rebound in that position, isn't it?
And the tag team is on the floor. Goes to the mat with an illegal hold, evidently.
We'll have Walton shooting too as you look at Cotton Fitzsimmons.
Cotton's been around the league for a while. He's been to 5 teams, I think.
Yeah. Walton flipping a brick up there on the first of the 2 foul shots. William gets the second one, so it is a 23-point lead again. 110-87. This equals the Celtics' biggest lead of the game. Hughes to Greenwood. David Greenwood has it deflected by Kite, but Walton got the body on it. Kite has come in, by the way, replacing Parrish.
It is looking for an opening. The offense is broken down, so it's just an individual move. Pretty big, long last step there that clears him from most of the pressure, but not quite all of it.
Greenwood missing the front end of the two-shot foul. Had been a #1 pick 7 years ago from UCLA by the Chicago Bulls, and then they traded him down here last year. The deal for George Gervin. Kite on the inbounds to Rick Carlisle with 1.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and the Celtics blasting along 110-88. Carlisle, now Walton low, wheels, goaltending, out the basket for Bill Walton.
That's what rookies will do, but coaches don't mind them making that type of positive error, because eventually, at least in theory, they're supposed to learn, which ones to go after and which ones to leave alone. But first, you've got to teach them to go after all of them.
Rebound by Lamp, and he gets it in. So the Spurs went to work off their own offensive board that time and came up with a hoop. Inside 1 minute to play in the third quarter. Celtics lead is 22 points.
I think the injury that hurt this team the most really is their point guard, Johnny Moore.
Yeah, he contracted
desert fever, they call it.
Yeah.
It's a form of meningitis, and I'll tell you, I don't even want to think about it. They tell me he gets 3 injections in his scalp a week for about a 2-month period.
The weird thing about it is,
and it may take a couple of years, by the way, for him to recover.
And the weird thing is the way it's contracted. It's contracted through the dirt into your system. If you happen to walk with bare feet or something, or it gets on your skin, if the germ is in that dirt, that's how you get it. And that's what happened to Johnny Moore. And so now he is out for all of this year and maybe even the year after, or next year. He could be out 2 seasons.
He had developed into an outstanding point guard, really ran a good show for you. And, it appears, despite Alvin Robertson, and he and what is this? Big Bill.
Missed shot.
That
Redmond
boy,
with it.
easy.
Carlisle fires with 2 left in the third quarter. That is the end of 3. The Celtics, after 3 quarters, are coasting in this one easily with a big 22-point lead. Boston 112 and San Antonio 90 after 3 quarters. The sign that's being held across the way. Got Leprechaun on it. On the other side at midcourt. Hi, Celtics fans from 3 transplanted Bostonians. Oh, it's a great sign. We ought to get it. Really, it's a beauty. Oh, good. They just took it down. Yeah. Boy, that's a first-class sign. Fred. there's a real first-class sign for you, folks. I tell you, that's really done up beautifully. You can't really see it over on the left-hand side. That's a beautiful drawing of a leprechaun over there. Hi to Celtics fans in Boston from 3 transplanted Bostonians, Paul, Ralph, and John Celtics in number 1. Tonight they are easily 112-90 over the Spurs. Bird with 33 points in just about a total of a half of play. McHale with 24. Parrish 17. Dennis Johnson 14. Leading Celtics scorers. We've probably seen our last of most of the front line guys. Seestein from outside gives the Celtics a 24-point lead again. It equals their biggest lead of the game. Now Wilkins and Mike Mitchell for San Antonio. Mitchell in, rams home a jump hook. Seestein and Carlisle are the guards. Walton the center. Wedman and Kite are the forwards for the Celtics. Carlisle is doubled up. He gets it ahead to Bill Walton. And the Celtics beat the double team on the ball. 14,218 in attendance here tonight at San Antonio to watch the Celtics. Robertson playing it tight on Carlisle. Now Seestein, 3 on the shot clock. Goes to Walton. Carlisle better fire. He did, but it won't count. Celtics did not get the shot off in time, and KC's not pleased with that. No matter how much they're ahead, he wants his green team to play like the green team.
Well, that's Casey's credit. You know, the players are handling the game kind of loosey-goosey, but the coach never relaxes until the whistle blows, and he has to just continue teaching and pressing the boys on not developing bad habits. Good ball movement that time by San Antonio.
114-94. The Spurs cut 4 points off the Celtics lead. Walton comes careening through the lane. He is fouled, however, by San Antonio's Jeff Wilkins, and that is his 5th foul of the game.
I'm sure Casey's heart was in his mouth on that one. I don't think he wants to see his big guy
driving to the hoop like that
when he's 22 points up.
Well, the Celtics had told Walton when they made the deal for him that they wanted him to play between 18 and 20 minutes a game. And he is averaging 19 minutes a ball game. So it's worked out exactly as both he and the Celtics had hoped. And what a contributor this guy has been. Coming into this game, Bill Walton is averaging 7.5 points a game, just under 7 rebounds a game, with 85 blocked shots. And not only, those statistics really don't tell the story, Coos, because his presence enables Parrish to play differently.
And loving every minute of it, too.
Robert can play with more abandon. He can, not afraid of fouls, and, you know, being the only big-time, top-notch NBA center on the team. I'm going to call Walton for traveling on that one, however.
Yeah, he had made up his mind to pass the ball and couldn't pull it back when the receiver became guarded.
Spurs have chopped into the Celtics lead to cut it to 20 points. It was 9 at the first quarter, 11 at the half, and 22 after 3 quarters. Robertson blocked by Walton, picked off by Wedman, and he is fouled by Alvin Robertson, which will be the 2nd San Antonio team foul of the 3rd quarter, the 4th quarter, and the Celtics have just called a timeout. That is the 3rd foul on Robertson here in the game. Timeout with 9:55 to play, and the Celtics are leading it by 20, 116-96.
Away, away, away now.
Bird.
Well, don't ask again, Louie. We already gave you the MVP in the first half.
Says if you ask again, Zeppo Ferrazzano and Vinny Bots, the 2 of us will go into the room and beat you about the head and shoulders severely. With fajitas. And flautas. I had flautas. You know what they are? It's I guess it's either chicken or beef. They wrap it in a tortilla and deep fry it. Very good.
I've looked at my last tortilla for a while, Louie.
Do you have any fried cucarachas or anything like that?
That's all right.
Hey, well, we've certainly gone the Tex-Mex food routine down here.
Yeah.
I had goat the other day. Delicious.
I had the Mexican breakfast the other day. Louis talked me into.
What did you have? Huevos rancheros?
Oh. Tortillas again.
Oh, goose. If you've ever dreamed of cruising the Caribbean, we invite you to be on board when the Celtics players and staff head for a week of luxury and fun aboard the SS Norway. They're not in the U.S. Navy yet. This special cruise will be leaving on June 21st. For more information on how you can sail with the Celts, call 617-273-5568. Foul on John Sunvold in the inbounds pass to Seestein will be the third team foul on San Antonio in the fourth quarter. Through this point in the game, the Celtics are shooting 68%. 47 of 69 for the game. Rebounding edge of 36-22 and a point differential of 20. But this game has long since been decided.
Well, if they want to break their record, they're going to have to hold it there. They're 1/10 of a point above it.
Free throw goes for Jerry Seestein. He'll get another.
I don't think they're too concerned with individual records or team records for that matter.
All right, Sunvold with the basketball for San Antonio. Works it to Robertson with a dipsy-do move that he threw over the entire backboard.
Well, the kid's going to be something, but even he makes some unusual mistakes or negative plays from time to time.
Seestein now to Rick Carlisle. Back to Jerry Seestein. Got Sunvold on him. Seestein squeezes one off. Kite for the rebound. Working at it, can't get it. Into the hands of Mitchell and now Alvin Robertson. Three-point shot from Mitchell. He's taken 10 of those coming into this game and hit none. So he's now 0 for 11 in three-pointers, in case you're wondering if they're going to come up with a volley of three-point shots.
All right, mon ami.
Bring this thing within range.
I'm impressed. I was just looking at the sheet when I saw him unload that missile, thinking to myself, what is he doing taking a three-pointer
all these
for?
little facts and figures piled away. Carlisle hit a 20-footer to give the Celtics a lead of 24 points again. Once again equaling the biggest of the game. Sam Vincent getting set to check in for the Celts. Lamp now for San Antonio. Robertson, whoa, turnaround. No, rebound, Walton.
Believe it or not, that's what gets a coach's attention. Despite a distasteful loss like this, in reviewing the game or the films tomorrow, this is probably what Simmons will be most upset with. You know, he's
bad shots.
Yeah, well, you know, what's my 6'8" power forward doing taking a three-pointer with 9 minutes to go? Only because the veteran player, if he does this, again, creates, the bad example for younger players.
Lamp gets a hold of the ball, which had been very hot and bouncing around. Mitchell's turnaround jump shot goes. We were talking a little while ago about the production of Walton. In this game, Bill has 9 points, 5 rebounds, a blocked shot in just 12 minutes of play. Greg Kite sweeps in with a left-handed hook and says, take that. And it's a 24-point lead again. 122-98.
Oh, Greg says to himself, if that guy, what's his name, can shoot lefty, why can't I?
Hey, actually, Greg has developed a pretty good little move with
Yes,
that left hand going in like that. Got a whistle and a foul being called on Greg Kite. Celtics' second team foul of the fourth quarter. 7.5 minutes left to play in this game. Sam Vincent is checked in, replacing Jerry Seestein for the Celtics. And now Frederick Hughes is coming back in. There's Mike Mitchell, who has 28 in the game for San Antonio. And he'll shoot a couple. Mitchell's the big gun on this team as far as points are concerned. 22 a game is his average. He's always been a great scorer. He started out at Cleveland with the Cavs and then came over here to San Antonio. One more for Mike Mitchell.
It would appear that that wasn't a bad trade. They got, who they give up? Ron Brewer and...
Well, Brewer was the guard. And the other guy was...
someone else.
Was it Jeff Cook or...
No, Reggie Johnson, I think it was. And neither one of them, I don't know. A Brewer comes up for a cup of coffee every now and then on a 10-day, but that's about it.
They alley-oop it to Vincent. However, he stepped out of bounds with the ball.
So, you know, they seem to certainly have gotten the better of that exchange.
Timeout on the floor taken by the San Antonio Spurs with 7:21 to play in the game. It remains no contest. The Celtics leading it by 22. Means there won't be a traffic problem leaving here after the game. Am I right about that?
They're starting to file for the exit.
Starting to run out of the building. Oh, yeah, we'll have it. We'll have plenty of time, sure. All right. Oh, you got two other
How
guys.
about us, Louie?
What about us?
You forgotten about us already? Nice guy.
Yeah, right.
Where are we going to eat after the game, Louie?
Fajita.
Whatever. You're my man. You're our leader. What, cucaracha?
Oh, you guys are going to go for cucarachas, are you?
Yeah.
Good.
Can you think of anything significant you want from me?
Yeah, at the end of the game, I'll just need the Celtics in double figures.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Birds rebounds, and anybody
the
else.
Spurs bench has outscored your bench, if that's anything.
Oh,
Ta-da.
there's a measure of revenge.
Futility.
Am I reading anything special here? Apparently not. Well, mon ami, the Spurs have won one victory tonight. They have a 3-point edge on our bench.
Whipping with the wet noodles tomorrow for the green team.
Here's our first look at former Celtic Ray Williams in this ball game tonight. Ray has been around, been through 6 teams in the NBA.
And has been consistent in his performance with all 6.
Yes, which has been inconsistency.
Exactly.
Sam Vincent, now Carlisle. Rick winds up from 20 and knocks it down. Carlisle gives the Celtics again a 24-point lead, which equals their biggest, which has been reached several times in the game. Walton, another rebound. This is Sam Vincent. David Thirdkill getting set to check in. Vincent kicking it off to Kite, who loses the ball to Jeff Lamb. This ball game was really put away in the first half when Larry Bird
I think right
hit 11
about,
out of 11, including 4 3-point shots on his way to a 31-point half.
Right about at the opening tip, I think it was over.
That was 2-0 San Antonio early, and then after that it was lights out.
Long year for Cotton.
Tell you, he could pass for Gary Crosby, couldn't he? It's just like it. Sam Vincent takes it in and comes up short. Air ball and a layup. A fight for the loose ball, and what do we have? A jump ball has been called between Greg Kite and Jeff Lamb.
Sam Vincent still leaving the ground a bit early on that penetration, and he pays the price. He continues not to quite finish that play, something he's going to have to learn for next year.
Wedman gets the rebound of his own missed shot, gets it to Thirdkill, who loses the handle. Wedman again. Open man is Vincent, who buries it. Celtics working the ball around well to the open man, and now it's a 26-point lead. And that is the high water mark of the night. Lamp going to get a foul on the Celtics' David Thirdkill.
Got to get David in the scoring column. I think he's the only missing
He's the
Celtic.
only one. Yeah, everybody
hasn't
else
lit up
scored.
the scoreboard.
Sure he will. Couple of free throws here for Jeff Lamp. And now Mike Britton comes back in for San Antonio, replacing Jeff Wilkins. Celtics beat this team 120-110 at the Garden a couple of weeks ago, and are really laying the wood to them tonight. Vincent for the Celtics with 5.5 minutes to go.
Well, I'm sure Casey is pleased with the opportunity to rest
Yes.
the regulars in anticipation of tomorrow's war, because I'll tell you what, they're going to be waiting for him in Atlanta.
Carlisle, no. Kite battling, no. Vincent, Thirdkill, no. Loose ball foul on the Celtics. That's a good point, Coos, because tomorrow night the Celtics, as we've told you a couple of times in the game, will be playing the Atlanta Hawks. There's Casey Jones. In Atlanta, the Hawks have won 7 in a row, and they're only 1 game behind Philadelphia
I know.
for the 3rd best record in this Eastern Conference.
I'll tell you, Portillo has done just a
great
magnificent job here in the last, 2 or 3 months.
Well, he's got a combination of a great player in Dominique Wilkins, who has toned down his game, and a real collection of big, young, tough players. Bruisers like Kevin Willis, like John Koncak.
Nice mix, too.
Really a
Rivers
excellent
and,
point guard.
Rivers and Spud Webb, believe it or not, have both triggered that fast break and made it much more consistent than it's ever been before.
Kite has his shot blocked by Mike Britton. So the Celtics are going to have their hands full tomorrow night, but because of blowing out to a big 20-point lead in the 3rd quarter of this one, KC was able to rest people like Parrish and McHale and Larry Bird. David Thirdkill goes for his 2 of the night, doesn't get them. He'll have to wait for another try, but he's able to rest his players for tomorrow night's game. 3-point shot is missed by Lamp. Ray Williams has it blocked by Kite. However, Sam Vincent cannot keep it in play, and it'll be a San Antonio ball with 4:20 to go in the game. Jeff Lamp to inbounds for the Spurs. And now Alfredrick Hughes and Ray Williams. Getting it out to Britton. No, Lamp. Tell you one thing, old Lamp has played himself one heck of a ball game for this team. They may be getting their doors blown off, but they can't blame it on Jeff Lamp.
He's a nice player. I haven't discovered the weakness yet that obviously they saw in Milwaukee, because he got a pretty good look there. And a couple of times we saw him with Milwaukee, he functioned pretty effectively. But when you let a young player go that seems to have potential, there's got to be something dramatically wrong.
Lamp has equaled his season's high of 23 points in this game. And he is a young player. He's capable of being really a swingman. He handles the ball well enough to play guard if it was absolutely necessary. Vincent from outside. And the Celtics are up 128 to 104 with 3:40 to go. Just a matter of playing out the final 3 minutes and 40 seconds of this one, but it was really just a matter of playing out the second half, because the Celtics came out and with an 11-point lead at the half, jumped it immediately up to 17 points to start the 3rd quarter, and it was all over right then and there. Wedman off the glass, no. Rebound Alfredrick Hughes. And he throws it away.
Got to
Must
keep
be awfully
running.
frustrating to be the coach of the team doing these kinds of things. There's Cotton.
Yeah, he's. I don't know if it's going to get any better. They've got their 1st-round draft choice, I guess, so they have an opportunity to help themselves somewhat. Although in talking to Jimmy Rogers the other day, he felt it wouldn't be a bad class, but certainly not, not an exceptional one.
There's about 8 or 10 quality players. Wedman, or the Kite, was fouled. Going up for that shot, to be at the line to shoot, too. There are about 8, maybe 10 quality players, but at this point only about 8 in terms of seniors. Some of the underclassmen come out, it could change that a bit. San Antonio, however, has lost 9 of its last 10. They could fall right out of the playoff picture and get into that lottery of 7. Kite misses both free throws. Britton gets the rebound. And they're a kind of team that could use help at just about any position, with, I guess, the exception of point guard, where Alvin Robertson is such a great young player.
They're optimistic. They think Moore will be back, despite the prognosis about, possible couple of years. It is possible he will be back for next season. So that'll pretty well anchor at least their starting backcourt with he and Alvin.
Ray Williams with a change of pace, and then he goes by for 2.
I tell you, the gentle giant has about had it. He's 36 years old, and
Gilmore,
really, he's not flowing too well these days. So they've got to look, as a lot of other teams do, to that center position.
Carlisle outside. That's his 3rd bucket. Rick Carlisle. And the Celtics are up by 20 again, 130 to 110, as the Spurs had cut into it in the last couple of lackadaisical minutes. Both teams just running up and down the court and firing away at will. Williams, set shot from outside. Tomorrow night, the Celtics will take a peek at the red-hot, very tough to beat Atlanta Hawks, who are playing something like 15 or 14 games above 500.
Oh, the two big guys are just grabbing his shirt. Britton had a grab on, and Cotton is furious. Of course, Cotton keeps up the coaching process as well. You know, there isn't much point in getting too excited about a call at this point after, you know, what has just transpired in the last 48 minutes. But nevertheless, that's what coaches must do. They've got to continue coaching till the final whistle. If you don't, why, you're not getting the job done.
Al Frederick Hughes goes by third kill, dumps it off to Mike Britton, and it's blocked by David Thirdkill. What a nice defensive play. Thirdkill is happy as Bradley Braves won today in the NCAA tournament in the opening round. And it'll be a San Antonio ball with Jeff Lamp to put it in play. Everyone's favorite going in, sentimental favorite, was Mississippi Valley State, and boy, did they give Duke a battle today. Outside jumper is missed, and Greg Kite, the rebound, has it ripped away by Jeff Lamp and Mike Britton and by Ray Williams, and the foul will go to Williams.
There's the Sun Bowl jumper.
Everybody's slapping away at him.
Jumps into the thick of things there.
Down to 1 minute and 27 seconds left to play. And mercifully, they will zoom by for the San Antonio Spurs, who just had their clocks cleaned tonight by the Celtics. One more for Greg. And he goes 2 for 2 that trip to the line. Oh, it's 133 to 112. Ray Williams has it slapped away, and a foul is called on Sam Vincent. And so Williams will be at the line. In his limited playing time this season with the Spurs, Williams started out the season with the Clippers, was cut. Ray is averaging 7.5 points a game. And after the Los Angeles Clippers cut him, he was with the Atlanta Hawks when they had Rivers down with the injury, and now ended up with San Antonio.
Well, that's where the 10-day deal, you know, comes in handy for players who become fringe players such as Ray Williams. And it gives them an opportunity. Eventually, some of them, you know, become kind of the round peg in a round hole where
the right situation.
Right situation develops where they can't hack it with a couple of teams, but all of a sudden, whatever their specific talents are, mesh into a club they finally get with.
Williams gets the front end of 2. He'll have another. 1:21 to play. The issue no longer in doubt, boys and girls, as it has not been in doubt for some time. But what a performance Bird put on in the first half of this game. 11 for 11 from the floor, 5 for 5 from the foul line for 31 points, including 4.
Yeah, the fans,
they got their money's worth out of that first
exactly.
half.
They can't feel cheated tonight, because I'll tell you what, Bird just put on a demonstration that somewhat unparalleled even for Mr. Bird.
Had scored just 2 more points in that first half, he would have set a Celtic all-time record for points scored in a half, as he had 31, but the record is 32, held by Ed McCauley and Bill Sharman, a couple of Vacuzza's old teammates, or young teammates, actually. Former teammates. It sounds better that way.
I don't really remember, but hopefully I was
you were very young at the time,
of a few assists.
Well, you were very young at the time, though, because those guys are old.
I was about 14 when I first joined the Celtics.
Boy wonder. Thirdkill looks for his 2, doesn't get them.
Come on, David. Got to get you on the
Celtic
board.
who hasn't scored tonight. 58 seconds left.
Plenty of time.
133 to 116. Final margin will be around 15 or 16 points in that area, but boy, I tell you, talk about a score that is not indicative of the way the game played. The game wasn't even that close. Foul called on Rick Carlisle with 48 seconds left to play.
Oh, Lamp continues to work hard and continues to penetrate effectively.
One more free throw for Jeff Lamp, who played at the University of Virginia with Ralph Sampson. He misses them both. Thirdkill the rebound. And now Vincent for the Celtics as we wind it down inside the final minute of action. here at San Antonio's Hemisphere. Not that time. The miss by Vincent. Tries to jump in for the steal, and a foul is called by Bernie Pryor. This game has taken a long time to play as well.
The last quarter especially.
Yeah.
It's gotten a little sloppy.
There's KC.
We didn't have very many fouls in the first half, so that sped by fairly quickly. But
After starting out this 5-game road trip, losing the first 2, actually really giving them away, the one in Washington and the one in Dallas, the Celtics have bounced back to handily beat a very good Houston Rockets team in Houston and then dismantle these guys here tonight. Just down here, they would call this a whooping. 34 ticks of the clock to go as Carlisle brings it over against Ray Williams. Third kill. Williams picks him up on the switch. Third kill takes it in, and he scores. And so all of the Celtics have played and scored in this romp over the San Antonio Spurs. 135 to 118 is our score. Williams now to Alfredrick Hughes, who was bumped by Carlisle. And so Hughes will shoot 2 with only 12 seconds to go in the game.
as so often happens, we were saying the first half shot by. You know, it was run and gun time and have some fun and light up the scoreboard without any real commitment to defense. But then when you get into the bench, you know, this is what these guys, they're still trying to impress the coach, so they're working at it and scratching and clawing, and that's why all the fouls here in the last quarter.
Carlisle is just fouled out of the game. So it's one more free throw for Alfredrick Hughes, who missed the first one, gets the second one. 135 to 119, 12 seconds to go. Vincent wheels it up court, loses the ball, kicks it out of bounds. Trifle out of control. Britton up court, the lamp. The pass underneath is stolen by Kite, and the game will end like that. Final score, Sam Vincent just whipped one in from half court, but it was after the final horn sounded. The final score here in San Antonio, the Celtics just winning very easily and much more easily than the final score would indicate. Boston 135, San Antonio 119. Let's go back to our studios to Jack Hines and Uma Pumaraju for this news brief. Then we'll be back to San Antonio in just a moment. What did Bird have for rebounds?
11, whatever he left when he...
11?
11, yep.
Would you please keep the people away from us here? They still, you know.
Get away, please. Get away.
Gil Santos and Bob Cousy back here at the Hemisphere in San Antonio, Texas, where tonight it was just nolo contendere in this one, no contest for the San Antonio Spurs, as the Celtics, behind the red-hot shooting of Larry Bird in the first half, blew out to leads of 41 to 32 at the first quarter, 80 to 69 at halftime, 112 to 90 after 3. The lead got as high as 26, and the Celtics, without Bird or McHale or Parrish for the final, well, let's see, the final 18 minutes of the game, three of them left with about 6 minutes to play in the third quarter. The Celtics just coasted home to an easy win, 135 to 119. The show and the story was Bird in the first half. The game was really settled there. He had 31 points, hitting 11 of 11 from the floor, including all 4 of the three-point shots, 5 for 5 from the foul line, and after that it was just name the score.
No, I'm sure Case is pleased. Well, he's always pleased with the W, but I'm sure he's pleased with the easy and nice way that he got his win here. It doesn't happen too often on the road, as we know. I'm sure he's also pleased with the fact that he was able to rest the regulars for the anticipated battle tomorrow night. And it was also nice to watch Larry Bird put on a demonstration that even we haven't seen.
It was fun to watch. It really was, and a bit incredible. In the game, Bird, the Celtics high scorer with 33 points. He also had 11 rebounds, and he played a little bit more than a half of the game. Kevin McHale had 24 points, Robert Parrish 17, Dennis Johnson 14, Danny Ainge 10. 5 Celtics in double figures. All 12 of the Celtics played, all 12 of the Celtics scored, and they just, quite frankly, blew San Antonio's doors off. All right, so the Celtics win this one 135-119. Now, tonight's lucky winner is Al Irby from Cranston, Rhode Island. Al will be called for traveling to his nearest Stop and Shop, where he'll be receiving a $250 Stop and Shop gift certificate. If you want to get called for traveling by Channel 56 and Stop and Shop, just fill out an official entry form at your closest Stop and Shop, or send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to your nearest Stop and Shop. We'll draw lucky winners who'll read a $250 Stop and Shop gift certificate. That's about it from here. Tonight's light beer from Miller Most Valuable Player of the Game is who else? Number 33, Larry Bird, with 33 points tonight. A donation will be made in Larry's name to the Red Auerbach Fund, and it will be matched by the Boston Foundation. Be sure to join us tomorrow night at 7:30 when the Celtics travel next to Atlanta to meet the Atlanta Hawks. For my partner Bob Cousy, this is Gil Santos saying goodnight from San Antonio. And as a reminder, I can be heard weekday mornings with all the latest sports news on WBZ Radio 1030. Boston Celtics basketball on Channel 56, produced superbly by Lou Schumann. Stay tuned for a special late edition of the news at 10, next, right here on Channel 56. Good night.